A lot of people saw this coming, but I guess I'm kind of late to the party, as usual. It's pretty obvious, like Apple's switch to their new M1 platforms isn't really something that they came out of the blue, like it was in planning for a long time. Introducing the M1 series chips was a very successful attempt at closing off their platform even further. And of course, that will kill all of the other projects that people have been doing, like the Hackintoshes. If you don't know what a Hackintosh is, it's pretty much a non-Apple Mac. It's a PC that someone put together with components that Apple macOS supports, but it's also running Apple's macOS without their consent. Obviously, they don't want their proprietary closed platform running outside of their own ecosystem. And then there are people who install Windows on their macOS devices just for fun, I guess. All this was made possible because Apple switched from IBM's PowerPC to Intel's architecture. That's the same thing that Windows platforms run on. So it was made possible for other people to construct their own versions of these Macintoshes, aka Hackintoshes, or they can dual boot to Windows when they wanted. But with the new introduction of M1 series that are based on ARM, they are not the same architecture anymore, so you can't run Windows, and Hackintosh is pretty much gone now. I mean, I guess that's okay in a certain sense because the M1 chips address all the major issues that the Hackintosh was trying to solve. Like the main problem back in the day was the performance that you would get from the hardware, like the raw performance, wasn't up to the mark for the money that you were paying. As a result, people were building these crazy rigs but running macOS on top because they still want macOS but they want more power. But now with the M1 chips, Macs are crazy powerful. I mean, the new iPad Air M1 is more powerful than most budget laptops. So as long as you're okay with Apple's ecosystem, there is no real reason to build a Hackintosh unless you want to pirate their OS for free. I mean, I'm a DIY guy myself, but I try to stay in the legal realm of things. Now me, just like most people, I'm just fine with PCs running Windows or Linux. I think they do just fine for all of my activities. But I guess if you're using something like Final Cut Pro, which is one of the main reasons why people used to build a Hackintosh, then yeah, now you have no other choice than to give your money to Apple and buy one of their official products. Because you won't have much of a choice now. You can't build your own Hackintosh unless you're willing to run the same old version of macOS until Apple decides to block your access to it. The end of another era, I guess. I mean, first it was the jailbreaking with iPhones and now this. And the main reason why people are adapting to it so easily is because Apple's new solutions are addressing the problems that previously required you to jailbreak or build a Hackintosh. After all, people who would jailbreak their iPhones or build a Hackintosh are the ones who are primarily interested in Apple's ecosystem anyway. Like someone like me, I don't see myself building a Hackintosh anytime soon. I'm perfectly fine with Windows and the features that it offers. And while it is fascinating to me that how much performance benefits we are getting year after year with every generation of M1 Macs, all I'm saying is just be careful how much control you're willing to give just one company. I mean, Apple is the sole owner of the entire platform, right? So they pretty much control your entire ecosystem. So be careful how deep you want to go in that. I personally think PCs are the best because you can legally build it however you want as long as you know the little bit of a hardware know-how. I mean, it's not exactly rocket science. You just plug a few things together and it automatically boots up. There is nothing complicated about building a PC. But I guess some people don't like it for some reason. I have built a few PCs before, but the reason why I haven't built one for myself is because I favor mobility. Like, this is not my final setup. At least it is for now, but I still want the option to carry my entire workstation wherever I go. Otherwise, I would have gone with a desktop PC because the budget that I've spent on that laptop, I could have built a fairly competent desktop with better thermal performance. But space management is a pretty big thing for me, but I will convert the upstairs into a full-fledged studio pretty soon. So yeah, it's gonna be a big project. Anyway, what do you think of the inevitable death of Hackintosh? Were you ever a participant in that community? If you're a PC person like me, then you can come and hang out on our Discord, link is in the description. Or if you're a Mac user, you can tell us why you love using Macs.